my beloved 2010 P7B is developing that problem where you can't fill it. It clicks off unless, basically for me, I've had to put the nozzle in, just barely get the tip in, just the tip, and then it'll pump. But of course, you always risk when you're doing that it will spray out. And of course, some places you can flip the pump upside down, but some places now it seems like they've got it where it doesn't fit when you try to do that. It hits up on here or whatever. So probably my EVAP system going bad. So I wanted to show you what the factory looks like, because the last video I did on this, they had literally done self-tapping screws and just rammed them up through into the trunk. But there's 11mm nuts there that hold the front, and then the back, they look like maybe rivets. Mine has 3. It looks like there's spots for more than that. They could also possibly be like those plastic press-in fittings. So I'm gonna have to figure out, because they're so dirty, but I'm wondering if they're rivets just because they look metallic and rusty. So anyway, if they're rivets, I'll have to drill them out. And I'm not going to put self-tapping screws up through the trunk. That was just stupid, whoever did that on my 08. But inside this mess here is the EVAP system. And when I get it out, we can look at it and see if it's clogged, or if, you know, sometimes you'll get like bugs or something will develop a nest inside one of these lines. I'm hoping that's all it is. Because like if it's the charcoal canister, you either have to gut it or replace it. And you gotta love, right? You just have to love that they come up with this stuff, because it's supposedly green and keeps the fuel vapors from escaping. But what fails? The charcoal. And what you see a lot of YouTube videos suggesting is just gutting it, putting it all back together, which then obviously the fuel vapors can just escape and vent into the atmosphere, which defeats the whole purpose of this system. So you would think they would have it where it's very easy to change the charcoal and economical to change the charcoal. But no, they make it ridiculous. And then they wonder why people do workarounds like that. So, okay, getting off my political post there, but just showing how stupid a lot of these laws are. All right, there she is, removed from the vehicle. Yes, they were rivets in the back. They were a major pain to get off, as was that fuel line right there. It was a 5/8, but the 5/8 doesn't go around it, so I had to put half of it in and then a screwdriver on the opposite side, and then it released. It was a major pain. This one I pulled off, but I didn't need to, because it's actually just a hose that goes to nowhere. Now, whether it was supposed to go to nowhere or not, I don't know, but mine, it literally just goes to nowhere. I think that's the vent to the atmosphere. You see there was an electrical connector there. It's pretty simple press and release. I'm gonna go clean this up. You've got something dirty, greasy, that needs to be cleaned. There's only one thing to do: super clean it. Now that's just one spray and one rinse. I'm gonna actually take the whole thing apart and try to clean the guts of it, so to speak, make sure there's no clogs anywhere. But yeah, super clean. So these are what I always call the patented EZ brake clips. Basically, they look like you pop them out that direction and then they will release. This is just held on with little what they call Christmas tree clips, and this literally is like fished in and kind of snaps into place in the back. So if you pop it up and slide it out, basically. All right, just like on my 08, everything checks out. I put the compressed air through all the components and they all flow. Even this little thing, which I know some of the older ones you could actually take it apart and clean it. There's probably a way to disassemble some of this, but I blew air through it and it was flowing just fine. And as expected, I did break these, but I think it was backwards. Instead of pulling the clip, I think you needed to press it with some sort of fuel line tool probably, but I'm not really worried. Those don't, it's not like fuel flows through there, so if they're not really sealed, I'm not worried. So I'll just put it back together and then take it to the gas station and it'll either fill up or it won't. All right, she's all back in. And I did use the little Christmas tree thingies instead of rivets there. It's very secure. In fact, you probably don't even need anything in the back, to be honest, because it kind of pressure fits once you tighten these down. But I went ahead and put those in. I used 6.4 millimeter, which is almost 1/4 inch. I'm sure those were 1/4 inch rivets that were in there. Like I said, I feel like rivets is overkill. Obviously, you don't forget to plug in the electrical before you put it all back together. Otherwise, you'll be taking it down again. Thankfully, plugging in the electrical is not too difficult. You could just loosen those and kind of lower this down just to get to it. But yeah, what a terrible mess to have to deal with just to be able to fill up your tank. You'd think they could do something, since they know this is going to fail, to make it a little bit easier to clean out or whatever. And of course, who knows? I mean, on my 08, when I took it apart like that, it worked fine, and still to this day works fine as far as filling up. Until I take this to the gas station, I won't even know if this fixed it or if there's some weird problem that I have yet to discover.